Well, we've got just 4 weeks now before we take off on our trip up through the centre of Australia. We've got just about 9 weeks away, and it's all pins pulled now to get everything ready on the van and the car, decluttering the van, getting the weight down, basically just going through everything maintenance wise on the van, checking things over, and just getting ready so that we shouldn't have any nasty unexpected surprises. So today we're just going to go through a few of the things that we're going to be doing, so stick with us and roll intro. Alright, so the barbecue we're taking, we've got a barbecue, I'll show you. We got a little baby Q Weber that has got a trolley. We've got this little trolley with it, and we're going to be taking it with the trolley because although it takes up a bit more room in the back of the car, it's ready to go the minute you pull it out. You don't have to pull out a table, which means that we only really need one table in the van, and this trolley doesn't weigh a lot. So with that in mind, I've given the Weber a bit of a clean. So it's you know, it's an old Weber, but I've given it a clean with some oven cleaner. It's gonna be roughly 2 months before it gets a proper clean again. So that's good to go. That's ready to be packed. And then chair wise, these chairs. Now these were feral. These have been in our shed. We've got a clay floor in our shed. They've been in there for months and months and months, and I pulled them out and they were feral. They were absolutely covered in mud, just horrible. However, I've hit them with the gurney, and as you can see, they're still soaking wet, but they've come up pretty good. These seats, the reason I want to take these seats, these are heavy. It's nice to dry at the top. These are heavy, but they're so comfortable. And if you're in an area where there's bull ants, because you can recline them and get your feet up, it doesn't really matter too much. And end up with bull ants running up your feet and biting your ankles. So definitely a very good seat that we bought when we were in Queensland. Actually, on our first trip away, we had some cheaps by another manufacturer, and I'm not going to name them, but they didn't last 5 minutes. They didn't even last the first week of our trip. And out of desperation, I went in and bought the most over-engineered seats I could find, and these are them. And these seats, very comfortable. They're now, got to be 4 or 5 years old. And yeah, they're showing signs of wear on the armrests. I think the tables have still got small cracks on them. But the actual material and the stitching, absolutely perfect. So if you're looking for some decent quality chairs, and they do make these in an alloy frame as well, that would make them much lighter. But because they got the little tables on the side and they're recliners, these are perfect for us. And I'm willing to put up with the extra weight of these chairs just for that reason, for the fact that they're sturdy and they recline and they're comfortable, and you can sit in them, recline them back, and just, yeah, great, absolutely brilliant chairs. Oh, I thought that was a crack for a minute, but it's just a scuff where it's been rolling around in the back of the car. So that's the chairs taken care of. Barbecue's taken care of. The car goes in for a service at work in a couple of weeks, so that's good. I have been through the back of the car. Let me just show you what I've done here. So the problem, anyone that owns a dual cab ute with this type of canopy will know that the problem is dust. So I've tried, because we've got the EcoFlow in the back, I don't really want that sucking in too much dust. So what I've done is I've actually, and I know you can buy this, there's a company called Grunt out there that do a seal kit for the back of the ute, but I figured, I mean, how hard can it be? These were never designed to be watertight. So what I've done is I've run some rubber seal from Bunnings all the way along, both sides, and then I've tried to make good here. Actually, that's peeled off. Tried to make good here by doing the same again, and the same this side. Again, that's popped off because I washed all this out yesterday. It's actually knocked a lot of this off, but I've got some more, so I might have to put some more on and degrease it. But yeah, basically that's all I've done. And then when you shut this now, you know, you've actually got to give it a really good shut. So it's got to make a difference, hasn't it? Anyway, time will tell. We will see. This thing, a little bit oversized, but we've been out and we've bought ourselves a second toilet cassette. Because we're going to be off grid for a fair while, we didn't want to have to worry about emptying the toilet. So at least if we got this, we can swap the toilet over and empty it when we get to a dump point. And because this box is a little on the large side, I've just popped in I've popped in my grease gun in there, some WD-40, the spare plug connector adapter for the Rexton, and I've still got a little bit of room. So I'm going to pack this out and make it, you know, a bit snugger in there so that this thing can't roll around too much. It is pretty good, to be honest, but what we're trying to avoid is it sliding around and smashing open, and obviously with the end result you can only imagine would not be pretty. So we've put it in a container that will be put inside the van and out the way. The chairs, I'm going to work out a way of strapping the chairs to the side. We've got to get the barbecue in here as well. I'm going to put some Max Tracks in here. I'm not expecting to need to use them, but kind of that's the point. You never expect to use them, but when you need them, you need them. So we're going to put the Max Tracks across the back there. They fit in there, and then everything can go on top of those. But yeah, so I'm just going to take you over to the van. There's a few things that I've done on the van, and a couple of things that I found while I was working on the van that were worrying, and really should pass this information on to you guys. Any of you guys that look after your own vans will probably want to be checking these items as well, because it did come as a little bit of a surprise to me, to be honest. Obviously our van is not, it's not an off-road van, it's not even a semi-off-road van, it's just a van with extra clearance. So the first thing I noticed, I was going around and checking all of the screws all the way around to make sure everything was good. And one of the things I noticed was on this door, let me just turn this around, these little clips here that hold your main door to the fly screen. The ones on this van were plastic and they'd broken. This top one had actually broken off the top and was swinging around in the wind. And of course that's the only thing that keeps this outer door shut against your fly screen, your security door. So I had a look online and I actually found a company that make these clips in aluminium. So these are actually aluminium, and they're anodized, and they're a straight swap. You just swap them over. I did need to file the holes out slightly bigger, because where these screws go into the door, they go into like a rivet bush, like an insert with the thread on it, and it was slightly bigger than the hole. So the hole itself, this wasn't sitting on there properly. So I just got a little needle file in there, filed it out until they would sit on nice and neat. And they are just a simple case of screw them on, and then once they're on, if you got it right, they'll line up like that. They sit on there perfectly. So the other thing that I've bought is a fresh door handle. Now, there's nothing wrong with this handle, it works fine, but these handles got a tendency to snap off. And I don't want to be in the middle of nowhere when the handle snaps off and leaves me difficult to open the van. So I've got a spare one in the van. And we've also changed all of our covers. I've bought myself some orange film and I've stuck them over the lights on the outside of the van to try and stop those bugs from hammering you of a night. And this was just something I got off of Amazon, I believe, or Temu. It was like $3 for a roll of amber clear tape that's double-sided sticky. And we have also on the inside of the van, because again, just turn the lights on, and we have on the inside of the van done one light the same way. And the reason I've done that is, and again, I didn't spend too long with it because it'll be peeled off later, but it was just slap it on there. So we've got one light we can turn on in the van when it's dark that shouldn't attract a million bugs into the van, because those of you that have caravans, or those of you that don't have caravans, will need to know this. These windows are not sealed around, and bugs will come in behind on the inside of your fly screen and then crawl out around your window frames. And you can't really seal them, because if you seal them, you never get the window covers off again to sort your blinds out or clean them. So it is a bit of a quandary. Here's a bit of a pain in the arse, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, if you can reduce the attraction to the van, i.e. put an amber light on, at least they're not drawn to it. Because we have had it where there are so many flies on the ceiling in the van, you can't move for them. Absolutely horrendous. Any of you that have got the Ibis 4, this is the way to do it. Fingers up in there, you'll feel the filter. Hang on. Oh, come on. You can get these filters out, but they are tight. And that, as you can see, I don't know if you can see that one. That one's quite dirty. So that just wants to be washed out. All right, so all you do with these, just give them a little rinse off. And allow them to dry. There's two of these. One each side. And that's it. She's nice and clean. And then it just goes back in. Just have to find the right. So you can actually, as well, as far as I'm aware, pretty sure this comes off. Yeah, it does. So you can lever this off. All you do is put a bow in it. There we go. We can get it down that way. Just to clip it off. It's just got some catches that hold it in. And then you can see what you're doing better and push them out. It is very dirty up in here. I might actually, let's just whiz this back out again, give it a wipe off inside, because that's pretty foul in there. Just get this one out as well. Come on. Come on. There she comes. There she comes. There we go. There we go. And there's another one that's pretty foul as well. So I'll wash that in a sec. And then I guess to clean inside it, and it is pretty horrible up there. Bit of kitchen roll, bit of Pino Clean, spray it on the roll, and just give it a wipe. So actually amazing how much crap builds up. And see all the fluff falling out. Pretty nasty. It is pretty nasty. Mind you, we've had this van for a fair few years, and I've only cleaned these once, so, and we're lucky we've never been in a position where the van's particularly got dusted. Okay, that's pretty good. You know, we've never been in that position where we've opened the door and gone, oh my God. Now that said, I'm going to touch wood with that, because there's hope on this trip it doesn't happen to us, but we're quite lucky. The van is quite well sealed. But again, it's not an off-road van, so you take your chance, don't you? And then this just has to come on, there we go, all the way home, and she's in there. Same with the other one. In she goes. That one's not. There we go. Because you do have little catches that they have to slide into, and there we go. That's all your filters back in, and we can just give this a little. Give that a little clean. Dust off of it. There we go. It's pretty nice. No, that should. So that's home. That's it. There we go. She's good. Okay, we bought one of these, and I think this was from Anaconda. Tiny suffers with hot flushes. So we were using normal these Sirocco fans, but they don't really throw a huge amount of power or airflow above the bed. So we bought this one on advice from friends of ours that have one. And there you go. And the air movement is ridiculous. They only draw a few amps. Just got to be careful that you tie up your cabling out of the way. But all we've done is we've just put a bar above on the sun blind. So just an old coat hanger that we broke and put in there. One of those fleeced coat hangers. Use it to support the fan, and then run the cabling to the crank handle for the roof, or for the skylight, and then tie it down or wrap it around one of the door latches for the cupboard, and then straight into my 12-volt outlet beside my bed. And that is throwing out quite a lot of airflow, and it's fairly quiet. So that's what we shall be using on this trip. I'm very impressed with that. $30. That's all it was. Yeah, so it just goes to show you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on Sirocco fans, because they're not cheap. They're like $180 each, and actually you'd need a huge amount in the van to do what this one fan does. So again, you don't need to waste money buying lots of Sirocco fans. One of these, hang it above your bed. Hang it above your bed. Old coat hanger, stick it through there, hang it up. You've got yourself something that is just as good, if not better, than a Sirocco fan. So there you are, there's that. The other thing we've invested in, again, this is BCF. This is their Wanderer range. A bag for the TV. We've also got a bag for our step. Sorry about the mess in here, guys, but we're having a clear out. So we bought a bag for the step as well, so the step isn't sliding around all over the shop. We bought one of their collapsible bins, which is relatively heavy for what it is, and we do have a Trekker collapsible rubbish bin that we normally take, and it is very good, and there is always a but, isn't there? This one leaves the polythene bag exposed outside, and if there's any critters out there, they're likely to tear into that, and you'll end up with rubbish around the campground. So yeah, we won't be using that one on this trip. We'll be using this one here. Okay. So the next addition to our channel is something that we've been looking at for a while, but we've never really been able to find room or the weight allowance to enable us to do it until now. So we bought ourselves a kayak. I'm going to show you it. So this is the Primal HD 330, the Predator. So this has got a 200 kilo weight limit. So technically we should be able to fit me and Tanya in this, although it's only really rated for one. But Tanya's never used one of these, so probably the first couple of times I'll take her out. We won't be using it anywhere where it's crocodile infested, of course. But lakes and rivers, in the future we'll be able to use this and go do a bit of fishing. We've set it up with a 24-pound water snake on the back, and I got myself a King's lithium 60 amp hour lithium battery, so that should run that easily for 2 to 3 hours constantly on high. So that's good. I don't know at this stage whether or not we're going to use the seat. And the reason I say that is steering it's quite difficult because you're quite a way away. It's a lot easier to sit on the actual side of the rib and steer. What I might do is push the seat forward first couple of times, let Tanya sit on the seat, and I'll sit on the side of the rib and steer it along. But yeah, it's all comes packed up in this bag here. So yeah, reasonably small, and obviously inflatable. And from what I've seen online, very, very stable. So stay tuned to the channel to see how this one goes. Looks like we're going to get some rain, so I'm going to deflate this and put it all away back in its bag. Alright, so the next stage of our journey was the need for a grey water tank. Now there's going to be at least, I'm sure there'll be at least one campground where we're going to be required to have one. Our van doesn't have one as standard. Now I did look into fitting one on the van, but to be honest with you, it would have involved a reasonable amount more weight. So I thought, no, there's a better way of doing this. For the amount of times that we're actually going to need it, I bought one of these. So this is a portable grey water tank. So this one I think is, I think it's 45 litres. So it'll be big enough. And I've set up a hose to go onto it, straight onto the side of the van. So all we need to do is to carry this one with us, and what I shall plan on doing is this one, I shall lash it across the back of the van, across the back of the canopy. It can go across the back there, and the advantage of that is we can just use it when we need it, pull it out. So one of the other things that we did was sort the diesel heater out. So I had a plastic tank on the back of the van, and the plastic tank had started to go very yellow, and it was looking pretty brittle. So what I've done, I'll just show you. I took the plastic tank off. Now that left the holes in the back of my back panel that it had been screwed on with, where it had been screwed on. So what I've done is I got myself some black checker plate, and I've basically pop riveted it to the back of the van. I've put plenty of sealant behind it, and I've sealed around the edges, and I've also bought a rubber trim from Bunnings that folds over, a C trim. I've gone all the way around it, and I've then siliconed that to the van, so it looks really neat and factory. And then I've put the new diesel tank to the back of the checker plate, so it's on there nice and strong. It's got a lockable cap, which is quite handy, saves anyone trying to steal your diesel, albeit that this tank only holds 8 litres, so it's not going to be, it's not advertising that there's a lot of diesel there, it's only a little bit. It's got a little tube on the side. It's got a little tube on the side, shows you how much diesel is in it, just here. And I now carry a jerry can of diesel at the front in my front toolbox, which is the next thing. We've been through the toolbox. So I've been through the front toolbox and I've taken out all the shit I don't need, all the crap I don't need. And this is basically it now. Obviously the jockey wheel's got to go in here, and the little high lift jack mount goes in there as well. But other than that, everything else is here. The only thing I might add to this lot, I might add my 19mm socket and a torque wrench before we go away, just so that I can check the torque on the wheels. I see people that have problems with these roof hatches. They either break the winder or the hatch itself, because the hatches, when they're closed for a long length of time, they quite often glue themselves shut into the silicone or the rubber seal. So it's just, as you can see, this one's like it, and all you got to do, put a bit of strain on it and just leave it for a bit. And you just come back and you just keep applying a little bit of pressure. Don't try and force it. If you try and force it, it'll break. You'll hear it when it goes. I'm just going to go to the one in the bathroom, because this one's got leaves on top of it that I've got to get out. Okay, that one came straight up. There we go. That one's all right. Now this one's still stuck. There we go, she's gone. There you go. If you try and force them, every time you'll break them. So just give them their time to open of their own accord. Now you can get up there and you can put a bit of silicone grease around them, that will stop them from sticking. That works because it's obviously on silicone anyway. And what we need to do, I don't know if this ladder's going to be high enough for me to get up there and reach. I'm going to try and get those things out. Let's have a look. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so this is another one that's loose. It wants to be I obviously missed that one. I've done all the others, I've caped them. Absolutely caped them in silicone. But this one, look, see that? You can move it with your fingers, it's coming loose. Okay, well that one's now picked out all the crap in there. So it's time to sort these solar panels out, I think. All right, so up on the roof, all I've done is I've just come along and I've put one extra bracket at each end of the solar panels. And obviously the important bit is all this sealant, which stops these screws from winding their way out. Just really to give a little bit more security. These panels are good, they're down, and there's so much sealant on them. I don't think they would actually go anywhere, but better be safe than sorry. Does look like the top of this roof wants a bit of a clean though, and certainly the sealant is pretty grubby. So what I'm going to do now is try and clean all this oxidization off the roof and clean the panels, and then she'll be ready for our trip. The roof is pretty oxidized, it stays out here all year round. This is actually quite difficult. Let me get up here and try and wedge my way into here. It is quite a difficult area to clean. The solar panels make it a little bit difficult to get onto. Obviously attack it from both sides, I think, is probably the answer. It's amazing how much traffic film and grime builds up on the roof of caravans. When you come up here, it's a bit of a shock to how bad it is. Let me just get some more soap on this. I did try using the same waterless wash that I use on the rest of the van, and although it did do it, I couldn't actually reach the bit in the middle. So I had to give up on that. So I couldn't get in here. Hopefully this will make a little bit of a difference. There's one thing we have found when travelling, there are very few places to wash your caravan. Okay. So this van probably won't get a wash again until we're home. There's your first stage. That's the area just there that I had to repair. And you see I've used black silicone, but at the end of the day it's on the roof. And basically what had happened, the silicone had actually come unbonded from the roof and started a flap, and obviously water was running under it. And although the rest of the roof looks pretty good, you've got to repair these things as quickly as you can. You don't want water getting in the van. Looking at the roof of the van, it looks probably a job for me for next year is going to be re-silicone the roof, which will be an interesting one. Anyway, let's get this roof clean. I've done most of the roof already, to be honest. This is just the last section. Just getting the last of the grime off. And I'm doing the whole van as well, because this is the last clean it'll have before we go. And as I was saying before, it's not always that easy to clean when you're on the road. And of course, your solar panels, they only work properly if they're clean. Anyway. That's got it. Someone should produce an app to add into maybe wiki camps to show you where car washes are that are capable of washing a caravan, and especially if they've got the steps to get to the roof. That would be a really handy thing for travellers to have. Drop in the comments below how you guys get around it. Do you wait until you're ready to refill your water tanks and just wash your caravan out your water tanks? What do? There's a lot of caravan parks they don't want you washing your van in the park. There we go. That's it. She's good to go. There you go. She's sweet. There we go. Oh, hang on. Stick over there, look. Okay. I think that'll do for now. So the other thing I found last time we were away and travelling was I had to repair the brake wiring underneath the van, and we were in the Barossa Valley at the time and it was raining relentlessly. The van was parked on pretty muddy ground and I didn't have a tarp. I've learnt my lesson. This type of tarp's been used for all sorts of things. It's got silicone all over it, but of course that's dry. I could spend a couple of hours peeling it all off, couldn't I? But it gives it character. Anyway, for those people that are planning a trip, make sure you have room for one of these. Because again, they don't take up much room, they're not heavy, and when you need them, you need them. Alright, so we've got just about 2 weeks left now before we leave and head our way up to Darwin, going out through South Australia, out through Cooper Pedy, up to Darwin, and then back across. We're going to be coming back through outback Queensland down into New South Wales, doing Winton areas, the dinosaur trail, and also coming back and doing Lightning Ridge. So if you've not subscribed already to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, that way you'll get notified of our videos as they come out, and drop any comments in at the bottom. Anyway, stay safe out on the tracks and we'll see you in 2 weeks.